This bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. First, out of the Hog Wild red corner, he holds a record of 1 win and no defeats. He weighed in at 211 pounds and represents Team Fast in Coburn, Virginia. Put your hands together for Charles Philpot. And his opponent, out of the OEB blue corner, he holds a record of 3 wins and 4 defeats. Weighed in at 206 pounds and represents Striker MMA in Bristol, Virginia. Give it up for Rutledge, Rutledge.
And I'll tell you right now, Charles Philpot.
Your referee for this fight is Josh Ward.
Charles Philpot is nobody's sweetheart in this neighborhood, man. Like, it is all Troy Rutledge out in the stands. But I'll tell you this, man, he's come here to spoil the show, I'm certain.
Josh Ward, our referee for this light heavyweight bout at 205, presented by Fracture Fightwear. Charles Philpot in the red, white, and blue trunks. Ruthless Troy Rutledge in the black trunks. 3 3-minute rounds, and we are underway.
22-year age gap right here.
Rutledge went for an uppercut. Philpot.
Look at that. Look at that. Philpot getting some air on Troy. Troy able to get his legs back underneath him momentarily. But watch out for that guillotine choke. Troy Rutledge very good at that submission.
So many differences, age, experience, body in terms of height. Rutledge in the black, Philpot in the red, white, and blue.
You know, I'm interested to know if Philpot is actually a southpaw trained, came out southpaw, or if that's how, most wrestlers wrestle in the right lead stance. Or, if he just decided, I'm not going to change my lead, that's how I wrestle, and that's how I'm going to finish. Beautiful finish there by Philpot. He is on top here. Not a good spot for Troy Rutledge. Troy Rutledge has a good guard game, but certainly for a wrestler, he looks like he's trying to implement the style of Chandler Cole here.
Charles Philpot working on top as we're just over a minute gone by, raining down some shots on the side of Rutledge.
Those are some big shots there. Yep. Troy unable to do anything. He really needs to get that right arm implemented. There we go. Get it on the bicep so he's not taking those shots. And I'm not a big fan of the half guard on bottom in mixed martial arts. It's difficult to do much with it. He needs to get that left arm into the underhook position and get back to his base somehow.
And you see Philpot now in side control and putting that weight on there. Maybe sneak in some elbows. There he goes.
Yeah.
Interesting here, fans. You could tell the way anxiety now as Rutledge is been on the bottom.
And Rutledge, he hasn't taken too much damage, but he can't stay there. He's gonna wear the weight of Philpot, and then Philpot, he's resting right here, and he's gonna grind away and get where he needs to be. So, great position here for Philpot. Troy Rutledge, he needs to get that bridge going and get out from under these strikes.
Wow. Philpot raining down on Rutledge.
What a posture here by Philpot. Rutledge in trouble, possibly.
Gave up his back.
Turns his back.
Can Rutledge hang on? 30 seconds left in round number 1.
Great wrestling power. Look at that left ride there. Continuing to stretch. Troy Rutledge out.
Josh Ward, our referee, giving a close look. Oh, hammer fist. Already a cut on the face.
Troy Rutledge making it back to almost back to his feet. Whoa. Now Troy Rutledge throwing for the fences here.
Can he separate? Final 10 seconds of round number 1.
Troy looks absolutely exhausted, man. Again, he had to wear the weight of Charles Philpot throughout that first round.
That's the end of round number 1.
But look at Philpot. He had to work very hard as well. He elevated Troy Rutledge. Rutledge is not a light individual. So, it's going into the second. It's going to be who can recover that wind, and can Troy Rutledge implement that striking prowess here.
Wow, the 43-year-old on the brink there, but hung on, got through the first round. But certainly Philpot looks to have won that round. Take us through the replay here, Casey.
Well, again, Charles Philpot, great position, gets that mount. He gets to chill and rest. He opens up here. Troy able to start his bridge. Start to move. He gave his back momentarily. You're not seeing that here, but he gave his back and then was able to slip out, fire off a few shots, and before before Philpot closed the distance on him again, you know, Troy, he really needs to make sure he contains those underhooks, he stays low, and doesn't let Philpot on his legs again, because it's elementary at this point for the wrestler Charles Philpot.
Worked on a cut on Rutledge underneath his left eye. And we're underway in
And I'd
round
like
number
to
2.
see Troy Rutledge clench those teeth, bite down on that mouthpiece. That's how you get your jaw broken in a New York Minute. A lot of times you don't think about it. I have to get after my guys all the time.
Hands down and mouth open.
Oh, big uppercut by Troy Rutledge. Big shots. And Philpot doing what he did in the first. He's got that single, but Rutledge staying up here.
Rutledge slipped, and it ended up costing him in the first round.
Good balance. You know, it could have taken this to wake Troy Rutledge up.
Nice shot by Philpot, who took some big shots to start that round.
Oh, here we go. Looking for that inside trip is Philpot. You know, I don't typically like that outside lift, but my goodness, what a nasty, look at this. Oh, I thought for a second Troy might have had that guillotine. This is exactly where Charles Philpot wants to be. Of course, Troy landing a few good shots there, possibly rocking Philpot. And Philpot moves forward and does what he does, man.
That is a big man that Charles Philpot just slammed.
It looked almost effortless.
Yeah.
You know, it's that low center of gravity, man. He doesn't have to dip very much to get underneath. He doesn't have to lift very much to get some elevation there. Oh man! And now
there's the back.
Same position as in round 1, a little earlier in the round. But can Troy get up? If I'm Philpot, I might want to drag him on back down into deeper waters instead of throwing the punches at this point. All right, look at this. Philpot on his back. He's got this wrestling prowess. He's got to watch out. Troy does not want to take the suplex here. Oh, look at this. Troy Rutledge turning it around. Sakuraba style Kimura lock.
Wow, and Philpot got out of it. Woo. Rutledge almost worked his way into a submission. A minute left in round number 2 in this thriller. And Rutledge is gassed.
Both of these guys, I think, are definitely feeling the wind here.
Down to the final 45 seconds of round number 2.
Yeah. And I think, you know, Philpot's probably got this round secured yet again because of the position. Troy Rutledge looking again, but of course it's not the Kimura. He's got the reverse grip there. Just trying to break off that, that grip on the leg. You know, kind of the same positions we saw earlier in the McKenna fight. You know, Troy looking better than he did in the second round because, you know, Philpot's having to work a little bit harder each time to get that takedown.
Knees from Philpot, some lefts and some right to that left leg extended by Rutledge. Final 10 seconds of round number 2.
Who is going to take it, man? This is utterly exciting here.
Wow. Fight of the night worthy here. Nice.
Fight of the night worthy already. We've not even seen the third round yet.
Yep. Now, second round, who would you give that to?
I mean, I think that on the judges, Charles Philpot's still going to take it. He did get that top position. He did get the rear mount. He did land a lot of shots. And, you know, while I think they were a lot less damaging than in the first round, and while Troy Rutledge did do some damage there, I think he rocked Philpot in the early goings of the round. I still got to give it to Philpot for just the wrestling prowess.
Take us to this replay here, Casey.
Well, there he goes. He gets that high crotch lift, that deep grip, and it's all hips right there by Philpot. Takes Troy Rutledge for a ride. A lot of times I'm scared when I see a fighter come down there because you can't DDT yourself, but he had good control here.
He avoided that. Stand up the whole time in that corner by Rutledge. More cut work. Doesn't look like the bleeding has continued underneath that left eye of Troy Rutledge. Third and final round.
Troy Rutledge, he's had some frequent flyer miles tonight, but he is standing strong, looking fresh in this third round.
Touch of the gloves.
And if he comes on, he can win this fight, but he's going to have to push, and he's going to need a finish in my estimation.
Ooh, big right, looping right, then missed. And here comes Philpot.
Yeah, he needs to. Troy needs to stay on the outside and throw wild. He needs to make Philpot worried to get there. Now use this guillotine to get off of the cage. Don't worry about the sub. Get off the cage. Make it hard for Philpot.
That looping shot, though, opened the door for Philpot to get him in this position.
And of course, we saw him take Troy Rutledge for a ride in the last round. This is his exact technique. This time he didn't get the air, but he did get the takedown. This time Troy is in his full guard. Troy's got some subs off of his back. He's got to be able to implement them here.
Minute gone by in our third and final round that it looks like Charles Philpot is winning with the judges' scorecards. You never know, but it has been controlled mostly by Philpot on top.
Yeah. You know, and it appears as though Philpot is mostly legs. You know what I mean? Like he is, most of his attacks are legs. He has been somewhat susceptible to the attacks, the grappling attacks like the Kimura and so forth, to the upper body. You know, if Troy can get some distance here, that might be the direction he needs to go with. But man, what props to the youngster Philpot. A lot of dominance here.
Philpot isn't smooth in his transitions, but he's effective in maybe not in your normal quick ways to get from one position to another, but he gets there.
Well, he's effective in his ride.
Right.
You know, like you can't see it from an outside perspective, but he's very heavy, and he's very heavy in the right places. You know, controlling the hips there of Troy Rutledge, it's hard for him to get out. He's having to work so hard to do it. And lucky, you know, Troy with that control right there, the elbow. Yeah, able to come out the bottom.
Wow. Well done by Rutledge.
Okay, we've got less than a minute. It's got to be a Cinderella man type finish for Troy Rutledge to take this one.
Is the uppercut
Big
there? There
uppercut.
It was. There it was.
Another big shot by Troy Rutledge.
Can Rutledge keep the distance? Philpot leaning in.
Troy Rutledge, known historically a very strong finisher in his fights. That's evidence here.
Raining down shots. Can Rutledge separate? Or can Philpot hold this against the cage and take it to the judges' scorecards? And it looks like Philpot is going to be successful in grinding these final seconds out. 10 seconds left.
Props to both of these competitors. Big guys going the distance. What a fight here for the crowd at Sutherland North.
And we have gone the distance. Great show of sportsmanship, but this light heavyweight bout at 205 will go to the judges' scorecard.
And again, you can't judge a book by, look at that kid. You look at that kid on the street, you think, you wouldn't work. You wouldn't anything, man. You watch him in competition, you think twice.
My goodness, and anytime Rutledge seemed to get something going in the striking, Philpot was able to find a way to get in close, get him up against cage.
Yeah, it was this inside single here. You see the trip there. Before that, he used the same position to hoist Troy Rutledge above his head and to deliver the big slam. You know, that is tremendous wrestling prowess. And like I said, it's not a surprise because he's got Chandler Cole there in his corner, Adam Mays in his corner. What a big win here.
And it certainly looks like it will be Charles Philpot, but we will go to the judges' scorecards. You never know. We've seen some strange ones, but it looks like Philpot will continue to stay undefeated.
We may have you know, a 29-20. I mean, it could have been close there in the third because Troy did land a lot of big shots. Some of the judges that liked the striking, they may have getting. I would say it would be a 30-27 and possibly a couple with 29-28.
Apex Fights 8. I'm Vince Ferrara alongside Casey Oxendine from Team Oxendine in this amateur MMA showcase here tonight in the Tri-Cities. Don't forget, you can get the full fight schedule of upcoming events and more news from Valor Fights at valorfights.com. Got some terrific events on the way in December and back-to-back weekends. Valor Fights presents Happy Valley Fight Night, pro and amateur, all kickboxing and boxing that night. And then December 12th in Newport at Apex Fights 9 will be the final show of 2015, first MMA show in Newport. And that is all the details on those fights available at valorfights.com. All right, back to the cage. For our official decision, here's Jennifer Oxendine.
After 3 rounds, we go to your judges for the decision. Your first judge scores this fight 30-27. Second judge scores this fight 29-28. And third judge scores this fight 30-27. All for the Hog Wild